What's up everyone, it is Dark Viper and I am here to show you a little bit about this and this. So this is actually an industrial washing machine. You can see how it looks. It looks a lot like a smelter, but the difference here is you're just cleaning onions. That's in veggies and all kinds of things. So the way this works is there's an introduction to oily veggies, okay? So you can see how this thing has like black spots on it. That's because if you have this and this, then what's gonna happen is as soon as this thing harvests the crops, it's gonna drop an oily onion like that. It's gonna look ugly. And the thing is, you can actually sell these, but they only sell for about 12. So the way you sell them is you have to come over to this guy instead of the usual guy. You're gonna come over here and sell your oily crops. So I've got it, so you're only getting 12 per, compared over here, which he gives you 30 per. So you're getting less than half of what you used to. But if you're a new player, you don't really have any choices. The only other option here is if you want to go over here and make yourself a water station, which I don't actually have right now because I don't have any pearls on me, but basically you can make a water station. And essentially what you do is you take the oily onions or veggies and you craft them inside that station. If you're wondering how you get those propellers and pearls, you come over here. This fisherman, he will also buy your fish. But how it works is you want to try to get a propeller, and in order to do that you need bait. But in order to make bait you need a bunch of carrots, so that's how you craft bait, is through carrots. We're gonna go and fish a little bit. I'm gonna show you how to do that. All right, so you just reel them in, so you have to click on the fish itself. You see I got a catfish. And your bait will automatically it'll automatically consume that. So you won't need to do anything there. You just need to make sure you are casting bobber. All right, I just got a red snapper. So that's how that works. And then sometimes you'll get a propeller or you'll get a pearl. They are kind of rare. The pearls are a little bit easier to get than the propeller. The propeller is pretty hard to get. If you need to, just go buy that water station and you can clean your oily onions. It does, from what I've been told, it does take about 5 minutes per 10,000 oily onions. So if that's anything to consider, I would just say it's not worth the time. Just sell them. Otherwise, if you have the means, go ahead and start doing this layered approach and just kind of have the goal of continuing to expand. This layout, what you're going to see is it's actually really to expand. I did have some stacked versions over here. You can see I started working on some of them, but I just went ahead and gutted them. The problem is that it's just too complicated to stack these, because the issue is when you're trying to stack them, you do need to have multiple washing stations. So for every layer that you do have in here, you need an extra washing station. But like I said, you don't want to overflow these. You want to pretty much keep it so it's constantly pushing these through. Otherwise, the longer these are out, the less things you can actually have spawning. And that means less onions in your storage. So when you're auto farming, it's incredibly important that you don't have any despawn. So what I would do is, whether you use my design or someone else's, you should know the math. So what I would tell you right now, I know the math of this farm. So it is going to give me 1 onion every 4 seconds. That sounds horrible, right? And you see a lot more of these coming through, but that's an average. So it's on average, it's going to give me 1 onion every 4 seconds. There are going to be some lulls. And the reason for that is you got a 30-second timer on all these totems. And so that kind of makes it so it's a little hard. You do have to spread it out. We also have a coal totem that's going to be spawning stuff. So we have to count those. We can't, just count the onions. We actually have coal that spawns every now and then. And sometimes stuff gets stuck like this. So you need to add a little bit of padding. But I can tell you right now, for every layer that I have, I'm going to be spawning almost 2 items per second. So this is going to cost me 2 items per second. And the reason why I'm going to have 2 items out per second, you have to average the time that an item's going to be out. So even though I'm averaging an onion every 4 seconds, that onion's going to stay out for 6.5 seconds. That means I can only do about 44 layers before I start despawning stuff. So that gives me some comfort, right? If I start going over that number, what's going to happen is things are going to randomly despawn and I might miss out some stuff, right? I'm losing production at that point. So 44 layers is what this layout can do. That will cost you 44 washing machines though. That's not so cool, right? That's a lot of washing machines. So what I can say also is you could try to squeeze a little bit more out of this and risk the despawn. So here with this design, what we're going to do is I'm actually going to have multiple layers here. If you're familiar with my old design, I actually had a system that basically layered these, and it was pretty optimized. I used to get about 160,000 onions out of this, but I think I just did too many, because what would happen is if you have too many spawning at once, then things were despawning by the time they even got close to reaching at the bottom. So I missed a bunch of onions just because of my stupidity with despawns. I shouldn't have allowed that to happen, but I did. So lessons learned. So I'm going to go a little bit more conservative to actually make more onions than I would have. Again, if you go over the threshold of allowed limits, you are going to make less than you would. You just need to make sure you stay within the limits and you're going to make the most onions possible. Here's how we do it. We're going to actually make two sides to this, and then we're going to go up, and then we're going to make two sides, then we're going to go up, and then we're going to make two sides of this. Now, I can tell you, if you didn't like the slanted design to this, if you don't like the diagonal approach, there is a way to do a zigzag. I'm not going to show that because it's just one more step to have to show you. I need to keep it as simple as possible for you, because otherwise, if I start doing zigzags, you're all going to get confused. So I'm just going to go straight diagonal. So what we're going to do is we're going to recreate what I already did, just so you can see how I did it, okay? So first things first, you're going to want an industrial chest. We're going to take this one here. I already got one set up. So basically, I'm going to set it up so that it's facing here. So this is what we're going to auto click, and then we're going to need a conveyor. So we need a straight conveyor. All right, we got our conveyor, and we're going to block this out so we know things aren't going to start falling around, okay? Because if they fall, then we lose it. And then we're going to start plopping this up. So we're going to bring this up. We're going to put stairs so that stairs become our ramp. And then the way I do it is I just build up from here. So you'll see I'm kind of just building on top of the one that's behind it. So you kind of end up something like this, right? You see these? It's okay. We don't need these. So if you run out, you can always just chop those off. And so we're going to go pretty high up here. And so these are going to be 3 tall, these borders. I just make them 3 tall. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, so you should be able to see how that's going here. We've got basically, you can test it out. You can roll something down it if you want, just drop it. And you can see, okay, it just flew off. It's because this is not enclosed yet. So we're going to go ahead and close this a little bit so that things don't fly out. All right, so now that you've got the stairs set, we're going to go ahead and go about 5 up, and we're going to go ahead and knock this out. 5 is just kind of an arbitrary number. You don't have to use 5. I just used 5 because it's just a little farther away from here. I don't like things super crowded. So I'm going to go ahead and do it right here. So we're going to put our stair here. This is where the dropper is going to drop into, and then the stair is going to roll into these stairs, and it's going to be a pretty smooth roll through for the onion. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put some blocks here. Let's just go ahead and put 4 of them out here for now. Actually, we'll put 5 so we have a spot to stand on. Then we're going to put our washer machine here so that it connects. So what you want to have this flush, the end of the machine flush with the end here. So what's going to happen is clean onions are going to roll off to that. And then we're going to go ahead and put a conveyor right here. And then we're going to put another one here. So let's go ahead and extend that out. We have 2 of them for a reason. I'll show you what the reason is in a little bit. And then we're going to go 4 up. So see, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we're 4 up. We can go ahead and go from here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is 4. So we have to count the bottom, the base of this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is already pretty much almost 4. So we're good there. Go about 5. We want to go 5 in. So for this, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. And then we're going to go across here. So now we have the top here. So this is our initial platform. And then we're going to go through 3. And then we're going to go 3. We're going to go ahead and do that on the outside here. We're going to go 1. So that's 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to go back in. And so this is our cutout for the totems. So it would be 1, 2, 3. So so counting again, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 3. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can just square this up for now. All right, so now we have this base here. We're going to put some stairs in. We're going to be putting them right here and right here. And then we're going to put one right there and one right there. So you can see how these are going to drop down into this, and this is going to roll through straight into that machine, right? So we do need to fill on those sides so they don't leak. So let's put those in. Let's fill on those sides. There we go. So now that's filled in. And now you can kind of see where we're going here. We're going to actually go ahead and start putting in the conveyors, but let's fill this in as well. And then we're going to adjust the size of this field afterwards. But for now, we're just going to fill this in. Okay. So now what we need to do is set up our conveyors. And the way we're going to do that is pretty symmetrical. So we're going to put 2 here. We're going to put 2 here. 2 here. And 2 here. So 2 on each side. And then we're going to put our coal totem right here. It doesn't need to reach any seeds, so we just put it closer to the edge since it doesn't need any kind of access to anything. And then we're going to plant our onion totems in here. We're going to do pretty much all the conveyors that are accessible. So it's gonna look like that. So as long as there's a spot that it can actually touch, we're basically filling all those in, and that it gives us our 15. All right, now that we got our totems, we're gonna go ahead and start planting some more grass blocks. What we're gonna do is we're gonna count 3 from each block. So this one does 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There's 3, that's 3, 3. All right, there we go. So that looks good. And now we're gonna do it diagonally. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2. So this is gonna actually be blocked, so that's okay. 3. And that's good. Okay, so now we have our island here. Now we can go and use the plow to get our spots together. All right, now that we got that, we can actually plant some seeds. We're gonna go ahead and get some seeds real quick. Let's go buy a couple hundred. All right, we got our seeds. I'm gonna go ahead and plant those. All right, we got our seeds. That's gonna start growing. And just go ahead and drop some onions down and see where they land. Go ahead and drop some of these down. So you should be able to see them cleaning it. Yep, all good. Working. So how you fill the glass in is you're basically, see these top blocks? You're just gonna do the top of each of these. And then you're gonna do one here. And you can actually just go straight up on this one. And then you're gonna continue on. And you can seal the top of this if you'd like. And that's how you do it. And I'm gonna go ahead and create a little bit of a ladder here just for kicks. And there we have it. We have a washing machine going. All right, I added another farm to this, and it's definitely increasing for sure. You can see I'm stacking up here pretty nicely. I'm gonna be actually adding probably another 30 levels to this in the end, so that I should be making around, if my math is correct, which it should be because I've been testing this and testing this and testing this, I should be making about 200,000 onions plus when I'm done with this. So it is going to be a little costly for a build. What I'd say is if you are new to the game or you can't afford these washers, definitely look into berry farms or just use the normal onion farms. Don't worry about washing them. I would say wait until the washers are cheaper because eventually we're going to have a bunch of them. They are still going to be pretty expensive, so I anticipate them dropping maybe to 500,000 a piece at some point. But for now, they're kind of costly. They do cost in the millions. So again, definitely just, you know, look at your options. If you can afford it, then go with something like this. It's actually pretty cool. I'm really digging this. I'm actually having a lot of fun with this, and that's what this game's all about, is having a lot of fun. I don't take it overly seriously. I just, you know, so I'm not going to be one of those people that are complaining that they ruined my farm. It did take a lot of work to redo this, but I would say berries are more interesting anyway right now, because again, you can get so much more just harvesting berry fields. If you did like the video, please hit that like button and smash the subscribe button if you're new. Put in your comments below if you want to see the finished version of this. I will do an update video as part of my next video that I do, and I will show you how big this thing's gonna get, because it's gonna be a monster. It's gonna be as big as my mall over there. So definitely let me know in the comments if you want to check that out and see how much I'm actually making per night, and I'll show you. Until next time, peace.